Hi everyone, I'm Yasha, and welcome to the 30th episode of Election Scoop. Today we're going to be talking about Arizona, which is probably the closest state of the three states that we've covered so far. And Arizona, this election season, will be holding elections for the Senate race, governor's race, and all 9 House races. There is, for the first time in our little series, a Senate race, so we'll get right into that. For the Senate race, on one side we have Democrat Kirsten Sinema, and on the other we have Republican Martha McSally. They're both current U.S. representatives, so they're members of the House delegation. Formerly, Sinema has been a former state representative and state senator, meaning Arizona state legislature, and McSally is a former Air Force combat pilot. So, an interesting thing about Arizona is there's a lot of people from every political group. There's a lot of rural conservatives, there's a lot of urban liberals, and there's a lot of people in between. And, the Senate candidates reflect that. Sinema was the most conservative Democrat in the primary, and McSally was the most liberal Republican in her primary. But overall, these two definitely are to the left and right, but they're more centrist and they're more pragmatic than many other candidates in many other states. So the polls have shown consistently Sinema with a lead. This polls conducted this September show her leading by 3 points, which is a little less than the averages of the summer polls, which showed her leading by 7 points, and polls conducted before that, which showed her leading by 5 points. Overall, Sinema does have a slight lead, but this seat is Republican held. Incumbent Jeff Flake is a Republican. He's not choosing to seek re-election. And this race really could go any way. There have been a few polls that have shown McSally leading, and for that reason, this race is rated as a pure toss-up. It really could go either way. Now let's move on to the governor's race, which is a little less dynamic but still interesting. You have incumbent Republican Doug Ducey and university professor David Garcia, the Democrat who is challenging him. Now, Ducey is polling at 48%, which is around 5 points under his last win, and Garcia is at 41%, which is a not too hot 1% above the last Democrat in the governor's race in 2014. Obviously, these numbers do not add up to 100 because around 10% of the electorate is undecided, but it's clear that Ducey has a lead. He's not looking like he's going to lose it anytime soon, and because of that, we're rating this as leans Republican. There's a possibility that Garcia could pull something off, but it does not look very likely at this point. Finally, let's look at the House races. And remember, the key goes from safe Republican to safe Democrat, with an asterisk changing sides. Now, Arizona has 9 districts. 3 of these are safe Democratic, and 3 are safe Republican. 1 is likely Republican, and 1 is likely Democrat. Likely Republican being the 6th district, and likely Democratic being the 1st district. The important thing is the 2nd district, which is actually McSally, the Republican candidate for Senate's district. She is retiring, and the district actually leans a little bit to the left, and it's predicted that by a small margin, Democrats can take back the seat, and that is why it is rated as tilt Democrat. Still very competitive, but Democrats do have an advantage. Winning that seat would mean the Democrats totally net gaining 1 seat in Arizona and Republicans losing 1 seat, which would mean that the balance of power in the Arizona House delegation would switch from 5-4 for the Republicans to 5-4 for the Democrats if they can take this one important seat. And I mean, Arizona's been a pretty solid red state for some time, but that might change here. Democrats could control the congressional delegation. They could control the Senate seat being vacated by a Republican. And these are all questions that voters are going to have to answer on Election Day. And we'll find out how they vote then. So thanks for watching, and remember, don't forget to vote.